And then like, come to find out, everybody ate. No, come to find out, shorty was holding animosity toward my partner. Ever view jealousy as that big of an emotion, or like something that could really drive people to do some insane stuff, right? Now they hate your partner for the rest of your relationship, and you're like, why do my people hate my partners? Because you told them that one story 5 years ago and they still holding on. We're in a terrible economy right now. I went to the grocery store the other day. Why are eggs $9 for 12 eggs? This is not 12 fingers, but for 12 eggs, it's $9. For 18, it's 11. Why are eggs in the double digits? Hello, New York. Just kidding. Hello, YouTube. I just felt like I don't know, I feel like I haven't been on YouTube for, but today I didn't really have like something on the agenda. Like I've made get ready with me where it's like I have something specifically I want to talk about. Like as I sat down to be like, oh yeah, let me do this, I've thought of some things I want to talk about, but it's kind of like a go with the flow. And I guess we're gonna start off with some realizations I had. So hey everyone, hey, maybe a little jump scare, I don't know. I do look a little different. Nothing too crazy. Like I'm naturally pretty. Don't play. I just wanted to show you guys the finished look, how I look at the end. This wasn't a tutorial, but you know, I know what's going on, even if sometimes it might look crazy. Anyways, in today's video, I basically just talk about a little bit of a 2024 recap, some revelations I've had in regards to, you know, platonic relationships, friendships, roommates, co-workers, friends of friends, whatever. Platonic relationships. And maybe the idea of jealousy showing up in those situations, confrontation, all those things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Good and bad. I feel like 2024 was just very eventful. And I think that's partly just because of the fact, like, I graduated college in 2024. I think that's like the biggest reason, right? Like I graduated college and I started like young adult life on my own. And I felt like there were a lot of lessons, like obviously big things. I traveled a lot. I lost weight, which was a goal. That wasn't really like a New Year's goal. I actually started that toward the end of 2023. I just kept it up in 2024. And I never had like a goal weight or anything like that. But yeah, but then even with like graduating college, like that was like a very happy moment. It was like, dang, what does life look like when you're not a student? Because all my life I've been a student. Or finding my first apartment, like that was very exciting. But then at the same time, it's like, I didn't really know where I was gonna live until like 2 weeks before my old lease expired. So it was like a lot of, I don't want to say highs and lows, but yeah, I feel like there were like a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. And I think I talked about that, especially the more college aspect, like being done with college, in my what they don't tell you about life after college, or like whatever I call that video. I just feel like 2024, like outside of college, just taught me a lot. Because of that, usually I'm a very reflective person. Usually I'm the type of person where the new year comes around, or like not the new year, but like, you know, that period between Christmas and the new year, I'm very reflective. I get really emo, not in a bad way, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it's done, where'd the time go? This year, because so much happened, I just felt like I had nothing to say. I didn't want to reflect. I just let the time come. I let Christmas come. Merry Christmas, kept to push it. And then that little, you know, that weird space between Christmas and New Year's when you're not really doing anything for real, I let that rock. Usually, like I said, that's the time when I'm really reflective, but I wasn't reflective. And I think, like I said, there was just like so much that happened in 2024 where I was just tired. Like I really was just enjoying my break and the fruits of my labor, just being home for the holidays with my family, just relaxing, because I had like 2 weeks off from work basically. So I guess some of the things I went through and learned, one of the biggest things or recurring themes of 2024 for me were like platonic relationships, so like friendship, roommates, co-workers. You can like literally apply this to anything. But I just felt like I had my fair share of weird experiences with people. I'm not a confrontational type of person, and it's not necessarily in a bad way. I do try, like when a situation calls for it, or like I don't want to build up resentment, especially for someone who I actually care about, I try to bring it up, right? But one, I will say I'm not the type of person where in the moment something happens, I'm gonna bring it up. Because I feel like a lot of times, like say someone's like a friend makes a weird joke or they make a weird comment, but for myself, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna really let it click that it bothered me until like I get home, I start thinking about the hangout. I'm like, wait, what did they mean by that? And then I'm just like thinking about it. So I don't know. And I've had moments like even this year where it's like I had people say weird things to me. I'm like, yeah, so like last week when we hung out, you said that. And they're just like, oh, either they're like weird about it and they're just like trying to act like they didn't say that, or like I made that up, or they're just like, why didn't you bring it up in the moment? And I'm just like, sometimes I don't have something to bring up in the moment. And I also had other situations where I just felt like some things also at the same time, it's like not everything needs to be a confrontation. I had a situation this year where like I ended up in a confrontation with someone, and it was like, it didn't need to be a and what I mean conflict is like a back and forth, right? It didn't need to be that, but I felt like this person escalated and the situation ended up being bigger than what it was. And part of that, I felt like there was a lot of reflection for that for me, because some of the situation, like I'm trying not to talk about it because I don't want to like about people in my life, whether they're still in my life or not, because like obviously it was pretty recent. At the very same time, I'm not trying to villainize anybody necessarily, I just want to talk from my perspective. But I think this year I had situations with people where I low-key think some people just maybe didn't like me, and I don't know, they were still in my life. I feel like that's more upon reflection of the situation. So like this year, for example, I basically had like a big confrontation with someone, and the whole situation started off for something so small. Like when I say so small, you can imagine, like say I dropped the pencil, and that was what started the whole situation. And from the jump, when the person started talking to me crazy after I dropped the pencil, it was just like, okay, the way I can understand you being mad or annoyed by the situation, but like the way how you're talking to me is crazy. So from that moment, I didn't even like really escalate the situation, because like, okay, I dropped the pencil. Now you're talking to me really disrespectfully. Out of respect to you and like the relationship I thought we had, I'm not talking back to you crazily, because maybe you're just going through something, right? Like, you know, people in your life, you can grant people grace. That situation ended up escalating into like a bigger situation, and just like doing more reflection as I'm like further removed from the situation, I'm like, how did that even happen? Me and this person were relatively cool. Part of me is just like, I feel like this person had to not like me, or like there was something, maybe I did something, like maybe I did something that they never told me I did and they had an issue, but I just can't but help but think that this person just didn't like me from, I don't want to say the jump, but somewhere along the time of us knowing each other, because we knew each other for, let's just say 5 years, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think, and then even during the situation as we're kind of tackling it, they were like, yeah, I don't want to build up resentment towards you, or I don't want to let this tension build. And I was just like, I don't have any tension toward you. And like, just looking back, it's like, did you have tension toward me? Did you have resentment toward me? And then basically after we had a sit down conversation, and like, because like I said, it escalated, we had a conversation, as they were airing out grievances with me, they were just like, oh, well, like they didn't have like any real issues. It felt like they were just like, oh, you dropped the pencil, but that wasn't really an issue, but it wasn't, because I love you, and the pencil wasn't really a big deal. Like that's literally how the conversation went. And I'm just like, okay, so what's your issue then? Like it was just so weird to me, and like so out of the blue. And like I said, I've never had like a situation like that with someone who I once called a friend happen. So it was just like, did you just not like me? Like this wasn't like a best friend or anything like that, but it was just like someone I've been cool with over the years. I think this person just didn't like me. I mean, you know, I could be wrong, but I can't imagine, my point is, right, I can't imagine having a friend I'm cool with and I actually like, they drop a pencil and I go from maybe a normal reaction being like, yeah, hey Glacy, I didn't like that you dropped the pencil, to, I don't know, but blowing up a building. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what it felt like basically to me. Another thing I felt like that I've really been thinking about is jealousy, because basically to anybody in my real life who I like told the story of what happened between me and this person, they're like, maybe this person is just jealous. And this is like multiple people who don't know each other. I've told this story, people from so far, people I barely knew, like who I've told this story, they'll be like, no, she was definitely crazy, that situation was insane. It kind of made me doubt myself, because at first I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong, maybe I wasn't really paying attention to the situation enough. But every person I told the story 100% true. I told where I was wrong, what they said, what I said, everything. And everyone's like, no, that person is crazy. And they were like, oh, maybe she's just jealous, like maybe she's jealous that you got this going on, that going on. I don't want to say like the things that that person doesn't have going on, but I'm like, maybe. And I don't know, like I feel like growing up, I feel like if you're a girl, I don't know if this is like a common girl experience, so I don't know, but I feel like I've heard girls say this, so maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like growing up, like sometimes you have people who don't like you, obviously probably more like explicit, like maybe like the mean popular girl at school, whatever, you're getting bullied, and you go home and tell your mom or something, and she'd be like, oh yeah, she's jealous of you. And I don't know, I feel like growing up, I don't want to say I didn't believe that, but I kind of always was like, she could be jealous, but like it could also be something else. And I mean, obviously in any situation it really could be something else, but didn't really ever view jealousy as that big of an emotion, or like something that could really drive people to do some insane stuff, right? But honestly, like I said, as I've been sitting and reflecting on 2024, and especially situations I've had with some peculiar people in my life, it's like maybe people were jealous. And I think part of it is also like, for me, I always think, okay, you have to have something like super perfect to be jealous. What do I mean by this? A celebrity. Oh yeah, just from the outside looking at them, it's like, okay, they have a mansion, they're a millionaire, they do all these things, they can travel whenever they want, they have the best schools for their kids, they have the greatest education, stuff like that, you know? And so like when I think of my life, obviously there's so many great things in my life, but it's like, I'm not like someone like that. Like I'm just a regular old girl. I just view myself as a regular old person. So like when someone would say, oh yeah, maybe that person's jealous of you, I'm like, what do you have to be jealous? And I think also, it's also just part of the fact where like, even if you do have a lot of good things in your life, you also know the bad things. And it's not to say to focus on it, but it's just like, it's like, oh yeah, I graduated college, but you know, all the nights and times I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of college, or I was really worried about losing my scholarship and maybe having to drop out, or like stuff like that. Like, do you know all the struggles? I think that's like part of why it would be like, how could this person be jealous when it's like, my life isn't perfect? But you have to think, this person doesn't know their whole life, and like you don't have to have a lot to be jealous. Like, someone sees you're doing this and it's like, I'm jealous of that. So I think that's just something I've been thinking about. And I'm not saying that's 100% the reason, but I do start. It's just been something on my mind. Like, people really do be jealous and you don't realize. And I think sometimes you think, okay, like, someone can't be jealous of me because my life isn't perfect. And like I said, you know all the details of your life. When people are looking out, like, I'm sure people may think, oh yeah, you look at someone's Instagram, they travel all the time, whole time they struggling to make rent every month, or their parents are funding. Like, you don't know someone's whole story. And that's like something people talk about a lot on social media. So it's like people get jealous of that, but it's like you don't know what someone had to go through to get what they have. I thought that was really interesting. And then it kind of also made me think about other situations I've had where I've had like people who don't know me make like snide remarks about my relationship. Like, what I mean by this, I've had like people who were like acquaintances, like weak tie friendships, make weird comments about my romantic relationship. And I remember I would always find it to be weird in the moment because you don't know my partner, and I'm not someone where I ever really talk about my relationship business to anybody. Like, the only person who knows what's going on between my relationship is me and my partner. And that's just kind of how I operate, because at the end of the day, I feel like there's so many nuances in a relationship if you've been in one, or with anything. It's like there's so many nuances. And obviously, especially a lot of times you're telling someone, a family, a friend, they're always trying to look out for you. They're not trying to look out for your partner. And so like you tell them one thing, like, oh my gosh, we argued, now they hate your partner for the rest of your relationship. And you're like, why do my people hate my partners? Because you told them that one story 5 years ago and they still holding on. I've had that situation, like literally in a relationship where someone, like, from a talking stage, they were like, oh, then this, I was like, I wasn't even mad when I told you that. That's why I told you. You're harboring angriness for me about a situation I wasn't even angry about. It's just like, what? But yeah, I've had that situation too. And once again, I just can't help but think people are maybe just jealous, or, and it's not necessarily jealous like, oh, this person wants my man type thing, but it's like, maybe you're just jealous of like what my relationship looks like. Okay, like, I feel like this lighting looks crazy. Like, do I look really yellow? No, I like looking orange. Sorry, this is why I like to film in natural light, because I feel like I look so bad. Bringing back to like relationships, a lot of times you tell people, that's why I don't tell people about my relationship, because like I learned this early. Like, I remember one time when I was like first starting to date, I told one of my friends about this situation I had with somebody in a talking stage. And when I told my friend this, like, it was kind of like a funny joke. Like, I wasn't mad about the situation. Like, it really wasn't anything to be mad about for me. That's why I told her. And then like I remember like I ended up being in a relationship with this person, and they were like, oh yeah, like, didn't they do this? That's why I don't really like him. I was like, what? Like, why are you harboring anger toward my partner about a situation I was never mad about from the jump? Like, it wasn't like I told her I was mad in the moment. Like, it was very much a jokey joke. Oh yeah, this funny thing happened. That was like a early lesson I learned. Imagine like it being like, oh yeah, you know, we were hanging out and this person brought me food. Oh yeah, she's like, I can't believe he brought you food. Like, that's crazy. I'm just like, why would that be crazy? Like, if you want to buy me food, that, and like I said, that wasn't the situation, but that was just like what the vibe was to me. It was like, that's kind of the vibe of the story I was telling. I was just like, oh yeah, this happened. And then like, come to find out, come to find out, shorty was holding animosity toward my partner about this. And I was like, wait, what? Like, why would you be mad about that? And so that's why I learned really quickly not to like tell people about your relationship. You know, also like every relationship is different. Why put all these extra opinions into it? Bringing back to my point of why I think maybe some people might think jealous or something, because I just feel like I can't imagine ever making side comments or weird, oh yeah, I don't really like your partner or stuff like that about someone's partner if I don't really know anything about them. Even if I know someone's partner very well, I don't really involve myself in affairs of the heart. The affairs of the heart are very insane. You know, it makes people do crazy stuff. I never really tried to, and plus like you never know the full story. You never know the full story. Someone's never really telling the whole story, especially when it comes to relationship, because like you want to maybe protect your partner, or you don't want to make yourself look too bad, or you just kind of want like sympathy, whatever. I don't know. The whole 100% story is never being fully told. I don't ever really give advice. I'm always just like, damn, that's crazy. Like that, if you know me, that's really me. Like, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Unless like you getting abused and I'm like, ooh, you need help. Other than that, I'm just like, okay. But yeah, so it's just like for people to make comments about my relationship, I'm just like, where are you getting the idea that you can make these comments about my relationship? And once again, like even in the moment, I would try to be like, what? Like, why would you say that? Where'd you get like that idea? I don't know. Like, just like I said, upon reflecting, I'm just like, maybe you're just jealous. Like, why? And like I said, my partner, everyone likes my partner. Like, my partner is one of those people everybody likes. Great person, you know, graduated college, got a good head on his shoulder, pursuing professional school, all those things. I'm just like, how can you hate him? I'm not saying you gotta date him, obviously. Like, I'm not saying he's for everyone. No one's for everyone. Even if someone's a good guy, that doesn't mean he's your guy, but he's not your guy. He's my guy. So I just had like moments like that, and I'm just like, maybe you don't, like, you just feel jealous of like the type of relationship, or like I said, me and my partner, when we're out and about, it's like we're pretty, like, you never see us argue. Like, so I don't really talk about any issues we have in a relationship. So I'm just like, maybe it's that versus like the people who made those comments to be like, your partner argue in front of like our whole friend group right now, or like you and your partner were exposing each other on Instagram stories. Like, I don't know, it would be crazy stuff like that. So I feel like that was just one of the lessons I learned. My whole point in that was I feel like that was one of those things my mom would tell me and I would just brush it off. But like, you know, your mom is always right. Like, you may not know it in the moment and you might not believe it, but she's always right. Another lesson I learned in 2024, especially revolving platonic relationships at the same time, is also communication and just being open to sharing. And so like in moments like that, when people have said weird things, I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, I'm really like trying to be like more communicative and just be like, I don't like when you say that. And not even just with friends, just like with anybody. Like, I don't like being disrespected. And I think it's because I'm not a disrespectful person. I keep my negative thoughts. We all have negative thoughts. I'm not like a perfect person, obviously, but like I never try to intentionally, and obviously I'm not assuming every single person who's ever said anything bad to me wasn't trying to intentionally hurt me. But when you do it multiple times, it's like, what's the point here? Why do you feel like you need to, I don't know, make jokes about my partner or be disrespectful to me in any way? I keep to myself. It might seem like I'm not a quiet person because I talk a lot on YouTube, but trust and believe, I do not talk in real life. I am very much a speak unless spoken to, unless I really like you type of person. And I keep my negative thoughts to myself and I never set out to hurt anybody. So when people hurt my feelings, or like, I've also had things where like I have told people like, yeah, what you said hurt me. And I've had one situation I told someone like, yeah, you made a joke and I didn't like that. That was like weird and rude. And they were like, I never said that. And it was just like, oh, okay. And that was like, it was such a weird situation because then like the person kind of started to ignore me after I told them they said that. And it was just like weird. I mean, they ended up apologizing after, but like in the immediate moment, it was just like, I was like, yeah, you said that. And like, even when I brought it up, it's kind of like a joke. It was like, yeah, you made that weird joke like last time we hung out a couple days ago. And they were like, what? And then they got quiet and literally stopped talking to me. And mind you, we're in like another hangout. Very weird. But yeah, I think people are really weird, but I've just really been trying to be very communicative. So when like a situation happens, it's like, I let you know from the jump. You can't say you didn't know. Because people like to act like, and like I said, at the same time, I try, like, I don't know. I don't make jokes about other people. But yeah, those are some of the lessons I learned in 2024. I think 2024 was a good year. I feel like, let's talk about some of the other things I did in 2024. Obviously, I graduated college. I made a vlog. I started posting on YouTube a lot. I love posting on YouTube. It's so much fun. Like, even though I don't, like, I'm not trying to be an influencer. I want to do other things with my life. And that's not to, I feel like a lot of times when people say that, it's like shade. And then it's like, oh yeah, they end up blowing up and then they quit their job and then they become a full-time influencer. I don't really want to do that. But I kind of like YouTube in the context of like documenting my life, making these funny little videos, editing. I like creative stuff like that. I love taking pictures. I love videos. I love the whole process. But I'm glad I did that because I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I never did because I always had really bad anxiety. And that's another thing. 2024, that was a good thing. I got my anxiety. My anxiety got so bad that I started taking care of it. I really started working on my anxiety and like using mechanisms. I feel like for a while when I was younger, I think I just didn't really realize that I was dealing with anxiety. I always just thought, like, I always like would cope with things and be like, well, I'm not the only one dealing with this, you know? So that kind of would help me, but then it's like, no, actually you have like an overactive imagination. It makes you think very crazy thoughts sometimes, you know? Yeah, there's that. I got my first full-time job after looking for so long. Let me tell you, we're in a terrible economy right now. I went to the grocery store the other day. Why are eggs $9 for 12 eggs? This is not 12 fingers, but for 12 eggs, it's $9. For 18, it's 11. Why are eggs in the double digits? Have we lost our mind? I feel like goals for 2025, I've made little goals. I feel like I kind of have like short-term goals. I don't really know though, because I feel like literally this time next year, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. Which I feel like is kind of crazy about adulthood. Because like, you know, at least when you're in school, it's like, okay, this time next year, I mean, sure, circumstances change, but like for the most part, I'm gonna be, you know, a junior in high school, or I'm gonna be a junior in college, or I'm gonna be a senior in college, or I'm gonna be starting my first job. But then like after that, it's kind of just like, it's really up to you what random side quests you decide to take, the people you should decide to spend time with. It's just crazy. I feel like 2025 feels like it's gonna be good. I feel like I have a lot of things I want to get done, so I will get those done if that's what I need to get done in 2025. I feel like this looks so bad. I just can't tell if it's the lighting, because sometimes, you know, when lighting's not like 100%, it could be a little weird. So I guess going back to like issues with people I've had and like that, how that was like a big part of 2024. I feel like I just learned a lot. And I feel like also sometimes when you do have things with people, bring it up the first time. Like I bring it up, and like part of me, I feel like I kind of want to like navigate the balance between, okay, bring something up the first time versus not necessarily having to, like, not trying to be overly confrontational. Because I do feel like, sure, you should bring up a situation, but sometimes it's like, okay, maybe someone said something, but it's like, did they really mean it like that? It's one thing if they keep on doing it though. Okay, things I want to work on for 2025 that I want to share on the internet. There are things that you know, I'm very much the type of person where I don't like, I grew up Caribbean. I'm fully Jamaican. I don't know if I've ever actually said that on YouTube, but I'm fully Jamaican actually. Growing up, I was always taught you don't tell people your plans, because that evil eye and all those things. And I feel like a lot of cultures have that, where it's like you're not really supposed to talk about your plans until you don't announce your plans, you announce your success type stuff. But I think one thing I definitely want to work on this year is my hair. I feel like I've never really known how to do my hair for real. I was always, my mom did my hair, and then once my mom decided she was tired to do my hair, she would just pay for me to go to the hair salon. And then that's basically the life I've been living. I feel like sometimes, especially in the winter, I feel like the winter time is when I hate, like I like having my hair done, but I don't like doing my hair. I don't like paying to go get my hair done. I don't like going to the hair salon. I don't know. It's a whole process, especially in the winter. In the summer, it's not that bad, but I feel like especially if you live in a cold place and you go get your hair done, especially braids, and you step out the shop and you feel the cold air on your head, it makes you want to never get your hair done ever again. You want to run home. Like I remember when I was a kid, when I would get my braids done, really rush. It would be like a 10-minute walk, and I would text my mom as I was leaving. I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to leave. And when I would say I made that 10-minute walk in 3 minutes, she'd be like, did you run? I'm like, yes, it's so cold. Like it would be so cold. And I just feel like also it's like the price of braids are going up, bro. Like it's really crazy. It's like these braids can only stay in for 6 weeks, like 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is really the maximum. I saw someone have their braids in, talk about taking it out when they got them done in October. I'm just like, damn. And I keep my braids in. I'm definitely on the closer end of like 7 to 8 weeks of having my braids in. I get it though, because things are tough. These braiders look at their bill. They look at the mail, their emails with their bills, and they're like, ooh, electric's due. Yo, braid's gonna be $500. I like to keep my house hot in the winter. So them braids, them 4 or 5 jumbo braids you want in your head, they're gonna be $500. And I also just think like sometimes people can't get it done. And don't get me wrong, like I don't think I did try doing my braids, I think last spring or like last summer in June, I think right after I graduated, and I liked it. I felt accomplished after I did it, but honestly it was like, bro, this was so hard. But it was like, this was so hard, especially doing it on yourself. I feel like maybe doing it on a different person, it might be easier, because like I don't know, like the whole positioning is just a lot for me. I definitely want to work on not necessarily doing braids, but like I said, having like a couple of hairstyles that I can do myself and feel like I look good in, and not have to pay someone to do it. So this is one of them. I did this myself for the first time. I feel like I look very good. But I cut layers, like, or something like layers, and I bumped the ends. Like, I don't know, I did a little 1-2. So I want to learn how to do my hair. I definitely want to focus on like social media. I feel like it's fun, and at least for now, like the foreseeable future with my job, I have the time to. I think that's like one of the things I really want to like. I like making videos. I feel like I definitely want to keep making videos, keep on working on my health. I feel like it's always an endless journey trying to get your health together. Just focus on me, like focus on running my own race. I feel like a lot of times, especially once you graduate, it's like you look into the left, you look into the right. You know, when you're in college or high school, it's like everyone's kind of running the same race. So it's like even if you look a little forward or look behind you, it's people. But now it's like we all on different tracks. You can't look at nobody. You shouldn't have been looking at nobody in college or high school, but now you definitely shouldn't be. So yeah, that's kind of what my main goal of is 2025. Just focus on me, whatever my goals are, whether I share them or I don't. Just focusing on me, not the next person, because we're not competing with nobody. So it's like I don't need to look with nobody, because I'm only competing with me at the end of the day. I don't know, I feel like something is off. Why does it look so weird? I'm back. I've come to the conclusion that I think the main reason why I feel like my makeup looked weird was because of the lighting. It was a little more orange than I think what I'm used to, because I'm using a ring light. I normally don't film with ring lights, but I've had this for like a long time. This one's a little more cool, and this one's a little more orange. I think the orange is just like emphasizing like the orangeness on my face. Yeah, I feel like I look good. Is this the color I wanted? I think it was this one. Yeah, so I think the biggest issue was literally just the lighting and how I perceived it. But I think my makeup looks good. I feel like I look good. Like hair done, makeup done, nails not done yet. Actually, I'm gonna make a video probably about nails very soon. But thank you for watching. I've been looking at myself. I just look that good. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Me talking about my 2024 revelations in February 2025. And I hope you stay tuned for the next video. Bye.